Okay, so I won't deny the hype surrounding Devilman Crybaby. It's good. Anime of the year good? Maybe. But you wanna know what else is anime of the year good and is only 3 episodes in at the time of me recording this? A Place Further Than the Universe. What's A Place Further Than the Universe, some of you may ask? Well, it's that other anime that Studio Madhouse released this season that isn't Overlord Season 2. I can't really blame people for missing out on this anime, especially with shows like Violet, We're Never Gonna See This Garden, Death, We've All Seen This March Before, Lesbian Sisters, and the aforementioned Devilman Crybaby taking up most of the attention this season. It makes it hard for lesser known shows like A Place Further Than the Universe to stand out. But I refuse to let this hidden gem remain in the shadows of these great and not so great anime. I will summon the power of my 1 subscriber and 63 channel views to give A Place Further Than the Universe the attention it deserves. We open our story in the small city of Tatabayashi and are introduced to the main character, Mari Tamaki, a second-year high school student who laments she hasn't been making the most of her youth. She one day decides to embark on a school-skipping adventure only to wuss out and return to school head hanging in shame. Later that evening, on her way home, she notices a girl drop an envelope carrying 1 million yen. A brief investigation later, she finds the girl who dropped the envelope, Shirase Kobuchizawa, who had been saving the money to journey to Antarctica in search of her missing mother. Mari, moved by Shirase's resolve, decides to partake in the journey as well, and the two begin to make their plans to reach Antarctica. Along the way, they are joined by Hinata Miyake and Yuzuki Shiraishi. Mari, who I find to be the most relatable of the 4, is someone who wants to make the most of her life but is hampered by her fear of failure, and as a result never takes any risk. That is until she meets Shirase, whose steadfast attitude in the face of adversity and ridicule inspires her to take a leap of faith and truly devote herself to embarking on a grand adventure. As for Shirase herself, it's obvious she's fully committed to her goal, yet she suffers from an overly negative temperament at times when things don't go according to her plan. And then we have the surprisingly wise and dependable Hinata, who I've marked down as my favorite of the 4. She's along for the ride purely because the trip to Antarctica sounded fun and will be a nice distraction from her studies. While on the surface Hinata seems to be the most well put together of the main cast, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to her reason for dropping out of high school and becoming an independent student. She mentions why briefly in episode 2, but like I said, I'm sure there's more to it than just dropping out because she doesn't want to go along with the flow of everybody else. I'm sure we'll find out in future episodes. And lastly, there's Yuzuki. An actress since childhood and somewhat sheltered due to her duties as an entertainer, she's the youngest of the 4, but the maturity she carries herself with wouldn't really imply that. Her main goal for taking on this journey is to make friends and lead a more interesting school life. Alone, each of these 4 make for believable and relatable characters in one way or another, though their chemistry together is what carries this anime to greatness. Apart from the great writing, I'd say you have to credit the 4 amazing seiyus, Inori Minase, Kana Hanazawa, Yuka Iguchi, and Saori Hayami's performances for making these 4 characters' banter so entertaining to watch. One doesn't need to be able to understand Japanese in order to feel the synergy these 4 ladies have with each other. If you've enjoyed character interactions in Konosuba or Land of the Illustrious, I guarantee you'll enjoy these 4 just as well. As usual, when you see Studio Madhouse pop up in the credits of an anime, you can expect clean animation and breathtaking visuals. A Place Further Than the Universe is no exception, and in a season full of quality animation, I can safely place this anime in the top 5. A lot of this anime's appeal, in terms of its visuals, stem from its use of vibrant colors that resemble a slightly more saturated No Game No Life. Reason being because the same person who was in charge of the color design in No Game No Life, Harure Ono, is also in charge of the color setting for A Place Further Than the Universe. Not to mention another member of the No Game No Life staff, Atsuko Ishizuka, is spearheading this project as its director, so we can expect even more visual treats in future episodes. While we're still on the topic of art, it has to be said the latter half of episode 2 showcased just how great and visually stunning this anime can be. Without delving too much into the why, the 3 girls we've been introduced to thus far, Mari, Shirase, and Hinata, went to Shinjuku's Kabukicho district on a reconnaissance mission, only to be spotted by the very people they were spying on, sparking one of the greatest chase scenes I've seen in an anime to date. The backdrop of the red light district, the hastened breaths of the trio, and the rising strum of the guitar and vocals encapsulated what it meant to be on an adventure. It was simply a fun scene to watch, and I've gone back to watch it at least 4 times now. So I'm going to get a little personal here for a moment. A Place Further Than the Universe is much more than its impressive visuals and characters. Its theme of embarking on grand adventures and seizing your moment really spoke to me as I began my YouTube journey. Like Mari, I'm sure many of us have wanted to do great things in our lives while we're still young, and many of us have put off those lofty goals in favor of remaining in a safe place and avoiding potential failures. That fear of failure is one of the realest things I've ever seen in an anime, and I believe it's something that resides in all of us. That moment Mari realized she'd just been going through the motions and not really doing much with her life, and then broke into tears, while done in comedic fashion, was again a moment of realness to me. And while I didn't break into tears, I can say I felt that same frustration and regret she probably felt in that scene. When Mari finally took her first steps forward and moved past her fears, she could finally see that the adventure she'd been seeking was every bit of fun she thought it would be, even in the moments of failure. In a way, those moments themselves, while frustrating, are what can make a journey that much more exciting if you don't let them keep you down. Like Mari, I can say I'm learning these things too, and while my journey isn't quite as grand as going to Antarctica, I can say I'm enjoying every moment of it through the frequent missteps and the small triumphs. So yeah guys, that's all I wanted to say on A Place Further Than the Universe. It's a great show, and while a couple of my reasons for loving it might be personal, it doesn't diminish the amount of heart and care put into this anime. If this anime isn't your cup of tea, then fair enough. But if you're someone looking for a fun adventure series with a great cast and eye-catching visuals, then you should look no further than A Place Further Than the Universe.